was adopted. We had three conditions that were added to the haul route. One was no staging allowed in the residential area along the haul route. The second condition was to add an additional truck crossing sign. And the third item was to add additional flag person, which would be placed at the intersection of Kirkwood Avenue and Tennessee Avenue.
Thank you. We don't have any cards except for CD 5, so let me call CD 5 on this. Sean Bayless.
Yes, sir. There are community members here, and the applicant's representatives here that asked them to hold off. We've had meetings with the applicant in the neighborhood, and this appeal, I think, was the push for points of clarification in the approval of the haul route. And so to add those levels of clarification that the Building Safety Commission addressed, there's concern from the community that staging and parking issues weren't fully addressed. So we request just two minor alterations to existing conditions. And that would be 3A, which says approve, which says staging is allowed on site in one truck on the east side of Fox Hills Drive in front of the project site. Trucks are not allowed to stage on Pico or Sawtell Boulevard. The slight alteration being the next sentence: no staging or parking allowed in the residential area along the haul route or project site.
That was your first suggested amendment?
Yes, sir. And then on page 5 of the approval, under specific conditions, it's condition number 8. We request that it read: the City of Los Angeles Department of Transportation, telephone number, shall be notified 72 hours prior to beginning operation in order to have the changes. 1, temporary no parking sign posted in front of the project site. And the concern is that we just want to make sure that there's no parking or staging within the residential community around that project site.
Thank you so much. We now have some cards that were just turned in on item 11. We have the appellant, Dean Kincaid.
We wanted a clarification. I'm here not only on my own behalf, but on the neighborhood. We have restricted parking. We have to buy our parking. And if they post no parking signs on the haul route, we have no place to park. There are a lot of seniors, and there's also some people that are disabled. We have oxygen being delivered. We have caretakers. Many of the buildings in our neighborhood were built in the 30s and 40s. So they not only have no parking for the residents, there is no guest or visitor parking. New buildings that are being built do have residential parking, but they offer no guest parking. And if you take our parking away from us, we cannot park one block over or around the corner because our permits are specific to our street and to our block. And we get citations, we get tickets. The closest parking that we could do would be maybe 4 to 6 blocks away. And if I had to ask my gardener to bring his equipment for haul it in 4 to 6 blocks, he won't do it. If you ask somebody to haul the oxygen tanks 4 to 6 blocks, they won't do it. So we don't have any place other than the street parking, and that's what we pay for. So we're asking that the staff report be amended on item, I think it is C8, to restrict, to have the no parking signs posted only in front of the site. And the developer is in agreement with this. He does not need them along the haul route. We actually need parking.
Thank you. And I believe some of that was addressed by Council District 5 in their amendments, so thank you very much.
Yes, it was. My only concern was where it says that there will be no parking. The residents can still park. That's what I want to make sure.
Okay, thank you. Don Tolentino?
We're a little bit concerned with item number 3. Last you mentioned that we can.
Can you speak into the microphone, please?
The weekend park. There's kind of mentioned that staging is allowed on the site and one truck on the east side of Fox's Drive in front of the project site. Trucks are not allowed to stage on People Boulevard or the Boulevard. No staging allowed in the residential area along all around, but I don't think we need one truck in front of the property. So once we finish filling up the one inside the property, then the other one can go in.
Okay. All
I was
right.
hoping item number 3/A stays the same.
Thank you. I think those might have been dealt with in the amendment, so thank you very much. And further talk to CD5 there with about the amendments that were just made. Thank you. Thank you. Pamela Ward? Pamela Ward.
I'm just here to say that it would be very much impossible for
Can
me
you speak into the microphone, please? You can move it down. You can move it.
that access Tennessee Drive to walk 4 to 6 blocks just to get from my car down to my home or to carry groceries or anything like that. So I would very much appreciate that our moving to the residents and permits to park there and not that they will not signs up down to the city boxes.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. So, we could move to deny the appeal and approve the haul route and include the conditions as mentioned by Council District 5 on that item. Does you have any questions or comments? Okay. So, can you go please?
And I know a lot of the amendments here to do with specific questions and concerns. This is a PPD.
This is a
It's a PPD, preferential parking district. Is that the area that they were talking about, seeing lots of cage or their specific on-street parking? Is that because it's a PPD?
I'm not aware of that. We just get the conditions from the Department of Transportation and Student Services. And they designate that if you're going to put the no parking signs up, then you notify them 72 hours before.
No, I realize that one of the speakers indicated earlier that they actually pay for parking on private parking. That's why I was wondering if this is PPD.
I am not aware of that.
Is there anything we can see with the council on this?
I believe it's PPD District 1.
And then, and so just to address some of the concerns that were brought up, no parking versus no stopping are two different things. Deliveries, particularly life-threatening critical services, like oxygen, things like that.
Sure. This is a haul route, so we're actually limiting the actions of the developer. This has no bearing on the existing activities of the neighborhood, so their deliveries, the workers that they have today, they can have during the duration of the project. This approval of the haul route is only to limit the developer to one parking space on-site, one parking space off-site on the street. And then to
Not the focus on the elongate factor.
100%.
I just wanted to reiterate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, this was originally scheduled for council tomorrow. However, it's been postponed for council for Friday, so it's October 24th.
Okay, so we will move to deny the appeal, approve the haul route to include the conditions for Council District 5, and this will be on Council 24th. Thank you. So ordered.
And Councilman, just to ensure as to the second appellant,
And just want to make sure that Bill Ritchie is not here. Bill Ritchie? Okay. Thank you. So ordered. Next item?
next item, Councilman, is the last item is an appeal by Nancy Bush. She's appealing the action of the Planning Commission asked to disapprove of various entitlements for a two six-story multiple family building in City 50.
Hi, welcome. We'll hear this item before, I understand. You can just give us a brief synopsis of where we are. We heard the whole project at the previous meeting. Now, just give us a brief as to where we are in the process.
Mr. Chairman of the Council, Rick Schuger, Representative of the Planning Department. You've asked us to return on the 21st. You elected to recommend to the City Council that this appeal be approved. The general plan amendment that's approved by the mayor also be approved, and report back with necessary paperwork and documents today. In reviewing this, we've run into some major issues we've had with the CEQA, this BIR on this project. We've consulted with the city attorney. The city attorney's office wants to consult with their not only land use, but also a review by the environmental city attorneys. There has been some letters that you received from Ben Resnick, representing the property owners to the north, and that's created some concerns that we'd like to address and have additional time to address this and make these findings stronger and more bulletproof.
It's my understanding, well, we heard this item in September 9th, and yeah, as mentioned at that time, the committee took the planning to make the necessary findings and conditions to grant the appeal and approve the proposed project. And it's my understanding that as of today, you have some language to be finalized, is that correct?
Yes, we still are not struggling, so to speak, but we're going to strengthen the environmental findings as part of the completed the majority of the work. We have not seen it because we're not releasing it because we still have some work to do on it. Again, we prefer that it be handled once we have meetings, talk to the developer representative, and agreement to continue with the council office and agreement. With the potential for litigation, we just want to be cautious in how we move forward.
Sean Johnson, City Planning. We're just simply still working on it.
Okay.
Need additional time. Thank you.
And how long will that take?
We're asking for 3 months?
3 months?
Yes.
3 months. Well, this is what I'm going to request, and that we move this item to council. We have reviewed it thoroughly at the previous meeting. The findings and conditions were presented at that time, and prior to it being heard in council, and you would need to work that out with the council president as to when you could hear it in council, that the language be finished. So we'll move it today with the concurrence of my colleague, if that's okay. And then as long as you finish that language before we get to full council.
Yes, I would agree with that, and hopefully they can close that timeframe a little bit. Perhaps if additional environmental and legal whatever it is that needs to be done, perhaps the applicant can help, because I know we're short-staffed. This lines, I'm sure for the 3-month suggestion and request is going to do. Fortunately, while we're short-staffed, the economy is picking up. We're getting a lot more work, and that's
Thank you very much. Thank you. So we'll move to grant the appeal and approve the proposed project with the necessary findings and conditions, and that the final language is being finished. Project Council. Thank you. It's order. Next item.
Next item, Councilman, that concludes the regular agenda. It's the special agenda, which is the CLA report on 8 projects that were recommended by the TFAR committee. And Mr. Oscar Isco from our office is here.
Okay. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair and distinguished member of the Planning and Management Committee. The item before you pertains to the city's program involving the transfer of floor area rights in the Central City Community Plan area and the Public Benefits Payment Trust Fund associated. In brief, TFAR is the transfer of unused development rights from one site to another in order to promote city land use objectives. Article 4.5 of the Los Angeles Municipal Code regulates the process for approving such transfers floor area and includes the review and approval of a transfer plan, which identifies and describes the donor site in which the TFAR is being provided, the receiver site that is utilizing the TFAR, the amount of floor area to be transferred, and the public benefit payment associated with the transaction. The public benefit payment is intended to mitigate the impacts of new development within a 2-mile radius of the receiver site by providing funds that will serve a public purpose, such as provide affordable housing, public open space, historic preservation, job training and outreach programs, and other benefits as mentioned in the report. In cases where it's city-owned property that is serving as a donor site, there is a transfer payment tied to the transaction, which, along with the public benefit payment, are deposited into the TFAR Public Benefit Payment Trust Fund. Several projects in the recent past have utilized TFAR, including the Wilshire Brand, 1500 Figueroa Street, and 1430 Figueroa Street, and have added to the approximate $4.48 million that is currently available in the trust fund. As per section 5.416 of the Los Angeles Administrative Code, deposits held in the trust fund shall be dispersed, 1, after receipt of a non-binding recommendation by the TFAR committee, 2, within 5 years after receipt of those funds, and 3, for use on projects or programs providing public benefit as set forth in section 14.59 of the Los Angeles Municipal Code. The TFAR's recommendation, the committee's recommendation from December 20th, they began the process for soliciting applications that were provided to council districts 1, 8, 9, 10, 13, and 14, all of which fall within the 2-mile radius of the receiver sites. Through this process, 14 applications were received and considered, and 8 have been recommended for funding, which are identified in attachment A to this report. The report further requests an allocation of approximately 15% of the trust funds available, or $665,000, to the City Planning Department for assistance with administering the TFAR program. Section 4.416 of the Los Angeles Administrative Code allows for up to 50% of the trust funds to be used for administrative purposes. The recommended actions have no impact on the general fund, as these funds are held in a special fund for the purposes in which I was described. This concludes my presentation, and if you have any questions, we'll be glad to address those.
Thank you very much. I've already reviewed this as it was going through the process of questions, comments. Okay, we'll go through public comment. Adam Morgans and Krista Morgans.
Thank you to the council. We misunderstood the process that occurred earlier with the ICO. The council agreed to pass.
Yes. Okay.
So we wanted to express our support and our thanks to the council for approving that. Again, the first time we've done a public comment, I also apologize for the mistake, but we're big believers in the ICO and what it seeks to do for the city.
Okay. We're getting
That was the same part, John.
Jonathan Tucker.
We're just north of the Brea Hancock area, so essentially the Brea Island, Third Beverly is our area of concern. We are seeing the same impacts for developers as is the area to our south. So thank you again to the council, and thank you for hearing us.
Thank you. You said you were a freshman time doing this? You
Yes.
gotta go through initiation. Have you got through the initiation yet? It's secret.
Yes, we are on fire right now.
number 1, we'll move that item with no objection.
Yes, we'll approve the 4 CLA recommendations.
Pardon me?
We'll approve the 4 CLA recommendations.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And we need to reconsider items 1 through 7 in the regular agenda because apparently 2 additional communities need to be added.
Yes, we will reconsider items 2 through 7, 1, 2 through 7, and have that open now. No
Yes.
We will add the communities of Larchmont Village and Miracle Mile. Okay. Okay, on this item, 1 through 2 through 7, we are amending the report to include Larchmont Village and Miracle Mile. And so we'll approve that item as amended.
Yes, sir.
No objections, so ordered. And now, we would want to reconsider the special item number 1, if there are public speakers that we missed. Can we get those cards, please, or the names? Behind some other cards. Becky, talk about it.
Thank you. So we just wanted to raise some issues on the TFAR allocation, particularly for CD14. My name is Becky Dennis, and I work with the Los Angeles Community Action Network. We do community organizing around housing and equitable development in downtown and South LA. And definitely want to make sure that TFAR funds are used for equitable development and the highest need and best use of very limited public benefit funds. And so I just have concerns about all of the money going into the historic core, the Broadway, streetscape and facade lighting, TFAR, and the Friends of Stone Street Park, when the rest of downtown is in desperate need of public benefits as well, and particularly the Skid Row community, which has a lot of pressing needs and always told that there's no funding. So when there are limited funding pools available, we want to make sure that our projects are considered as well. I raised concerns with the facade lighting just got a big allocation of public dollars. And as well, I was just at the Planning Commission on a completely different issue, and there's a whole other large project coming forward with $2.5 million going to these exact 3 things. So it just seems unfair that these things would get double funding when our projects are getting 0 funding.
Thank you. Steve Diaz.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Steve Diaz. I'm also with LA Can. I'm here today to really voice my concern around the allocation and the TFAR money to the project, specifically in CD14. It is really alarming that more additional money would be going to the Broadway streetcar and bring Broadway back after there's already a special tax that's been imposed to businesses, and there's already Metro money, there's already formerly Community Redevelopment Agency money. It just really seems that this money is constantly being used on a project when there's tremendous needs elsewhere in the community, such as in Skid Row. Compare the allocation that has occurred with bringing Broadway back to that of Operation Healthy Streets. There's nowhere near the equivalent of the same amount of spending that's happening. And I really urge the council, the committee, and everyone to take that into account as we move this budget allocation forward.
Thank you. Just for the record, this is one portion of several TFAR monies that are being given out, and several projects are contributing to this TFAR. And in fact, just last week, there was some TFAR given out by the Greenling Project, which a good portion of that went to several homeless initiatives as well. This is not the full picture of all TFAR. So with that, we'll approve this item and move it forward with no objection. Next item.
Public comment, council?
Okay, we have one card, William Cousin. William Cousin.
First of all, thank you, gentlemen, for your service to our community. I don't really understand what happened at the beginning with items 1 through 8, but after something happened that might not be heard on those topics, I filled out public comment. Are you against loopholes in the laws and codes? Do you believe in the democratic process? Are you against discrimination discrimination. August 12th, at the Planning and Land Use Committee during public comment, I submitted a statement. Following is the same statement with minor edits about the discriminatory provisions of the RFA district initiation process included in the baseline mansionization ordinance. I request that if changes are made to the BMO, then 1, the term lessees should be removed as they have no real property ownership and therefore no vested interest in the property. The loophole waiver of signature requirement for the establishment of an RFA district, if initiated by the Director of City Planning, City Planning Commissioner, or City Council.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up. I'm sorry.
I prepared this in writing so it can go on the public record.
We will read it and put it in the record. Thank you. I love your time, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. What are you?
Mr. Pumpkin.
Mr. Pumpkin? Thank you very much. Any other business? That concludes this meeting. And Mr. Angleter, thank you for your efficiency this morning.
That was 1 minute, not 2. That's why I didn't finish. I had times for 2. That's right. I think I made the main point.